Alright, what's up guys? So today I want to talk about the craziest skate tricks that have ever been done, period. Now obviously this is not objective, this is subjective, and I want to talk today about the skate tricks that have legitimately wowed me, to the point where I remember a certain spot or time in life because of this trick that has been done. And I want to talk about the few examples in this video that have legitimately pushed the boundaries of skating, right? Because when you think about skating now, it's so much different than how it was before, right? We're in a time now where people just casually tray flip Wallenberg, and you have kids that are doing 1080s on mega ramps and pulling out banger street clips that could easily be enders in a skate video park. Whereas back in the day, people were just happy to roll around on a plank of plywood. And so skateboarding has progressed so far, and so kind of want to look back at some of the tricks, especially in more recent times, because skateboarding is at a whole different level now, that have legitimately left me speechless. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And number one, I want to talk about the classic. I feel like this clip has to be in any list for the greatest skateboarding tricks of all time. And it has to be Jeremy Ray's ollie over the water tower gap. Now this hands down has to be, I would even argue, probably the top 3 greatest skateboarding tricks ever done, because it's been 23 years since Jeremy Ray did this trick in '97, and no one has attempted it since. It's a 16-foot gap between 2 water towers, and if you fall, you die. Like, it's just that simple. It's literally a make or break. And what's crazy about this is, you know, when you think about like a 25 stair ollie like Jaws versus the Leon 25, right? He has all this run up to get to the stair set. Obviously that trick is mind-blowing as well. But with this water tower, you literally are confined to the space of each water tower. That means you have to run, you have limited runway, limited run up, and you have to, given what you have, make a 16-foot gap work. And honestly, what's so mind-blowing about this is that he decided to do a trick that is considered the most basic trick of skateboarding, which is, and yet that ollie is the greatest ollie that's ever been done, period. Like, there is no ollie that even comes close to this. You could argue maybe Jaws on the 25, but this is literally life or death, right? When you look at, going back to Jaws versus the Leon, when you look at Jaws versus the 25, he was able to stick it, land, fall, kick out, whatever. Jeremy Ray did not have that option. You either make it or you die. It's just that simple. It's mind-blowing. Every time I watch it, I just think, this is insane. And so, obviously this has to be the first trick on my list, because not only has it never been done since, but it completely catapulted skateboarding into a whole new stratosphere. Because this is back in '97. When tricks like this were no one was doing tricks like this in '97. And this was really the point in time where people were like, okay, we need to step up our game in skating, because this guy just ollied a 16-foot water tower gap. And it's such an amazing trick that this man, Jeremy Ray, is known for that trick. Whenever your legacy is determined by one event, that just explains how significant that event truly is. So that's all I got for number one. And this isn't in any order. It's not, number 1 isn't like the most insane trick ever. I'm just going 1 through 5. Number 2 that I have on the list is a little bit more recent, and a little bit more recent and probably unpopular. But when I saw this for the first time, to me, this is one of the few tricks where it's been 2 years since this trick has been done, and I still think about it all the time. Because like when you watch an amazing skate video part, you kind of, in your mind, will compare it to other parts. And the person I'm talking about today is Milton Martinez on his ender for his Demolition part in 2019. Now, many people just kind of flew by this, like it wasn't anything crazy. To me, I think this is probably the craziest handrail trick that's ever been done, in my eyes. You know, besides the long grinds, the long 50-50s, I think that this is the craziest handrail trick. And no one talks about it. Everyone, because skateboarding is at such an advanced level, that this clip right here does not shock anyone like how it does for me, because it's just a normal Tuesday for Milton. But I mean, let's just take a look at the gap real quick, just to see how massive this trick is. He does a front lip on this double set handrail. What's crazy is that the handrail is not connected. The handrail only starts on the second part of the double set, and he has to gap. I would argue this is probably maybe a 10-foot gap, or maybe I'm overshooting it. He has to ollie 10 feet and then turn into a board slide and then land. This is another trick where you can't just bail out. If you bail out, you're either going to land on the stairs or you're going to sack the rail and get severely hurt. And no one even talks about it. It's crazy to me. Every time I watch this clip, my jaw literally drops. It's insane to me now. It's the reason why I have to put this on here is because it's been 2 years, and this is not only is this the trick that I remember Milton Martinez for, but it's the trick that has continuously wowed me in the 2 years. This is probably my most rewatched video part because this whole video part's insane. But this trick in particular wows me every single time I watch it. Okay, for 3, I want to talk about the one, the only Chris Cole tray flip down Wallenberg. This is a monumental trick. It's probably one of the cleanest tray flips that have ever been done, in my opinion. The way he did it was just so beautiful. And it was at a time in life where he dyed his hair blonde. And so like when I think of Chris Cole, I always think about his blonde hair days in Zero. But this trick right here was the gateway to what Wallenberg is today. You had legends like Mark Gonzalez who ollied Wallenberg before Chris Cole. Then you had I think then you had Dave Baczynski, I think, kickflipped Wallenberg like first try. And then you had Chris Cole in his video part for Zero. Tray flips this. It took him 66 tries. And just look at his arm after each try. His arm literally was deformed from how many times he was falling. But what's so incredible about this is just the mere fact of Wallenberg itself. It's the size of like a 10 stair, but it's the length of El Toro. It's literally like it's literally like a 15, 16 foot gap, probably even bigger. But the height is not big at all, which to me I think is even scarier than if it was something super high. Because length requires enormous speed to the fact where people have to literally transport a ramp just to get enough speed to get to this spot. They can't, with all the runway that Wallenberg offers, people still can't get enough speed, so they have to manually transport a ramp. That should tell you in itself how gnarly this spot is. Number 4 is another recent one that came out end of last year, and a lot of people may think, okay, for me to say it's the craziest skate trick ever done and it came out last year, it might sound like I don't know what I'm talking about or I'm just hyping it up too much. But to me, again, this is all in my opinion. To me, this is one of the tricks on this list that has legitimately left me speechless. And this is thanks to the one, the only Illegal Civ's Godspeed. And I'm talking about the ender to this video. If you haven't seen Godspeed, skip this part of the video. This is a mind-blowing trick. Alex Midler's part was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know why he didn't get Skater of the Year for that part. He had banger after banger after banger. But this trick right here into the car wash bank is hands down one of the craziest tricks I've ever seen. Because not only does he do a back 3 into this, first off, look at how high the gap is. Look at how steep the bank is. And you're going right into an intersection. You have to have spotters on every side looking at cars. And the bank does not have a gradual decline, right? That's why it's a bank. You are literally landing in a slope like this, and you have to then land and then lean back and land on a flat ground. I would think that landing into a bank that's this steep is harder than actually doing a trick down a big stair set. And for him to do a back 3 down it is just mind-blowing. Because you see people like Milton Martinez again, who does a kickflip into this, and this was the trick of the year from 2019, I think. And then you have Alex Midler that just one-ups it with a back 360. This again is another trick where you just can't bail out. Milton Martinez learned that the hard way. He broke his ankle trying to do a kickflip onto this bank. This is another trick where you have to either make it or you break it. And this, to me, is one of the greatest skate tricks that I've ever seen. Again, people will hype it up, and people will probably say I'm hyping it up too much and that there's way crazier things that have been done. But to me, this is a trick that I will remember going forward in the future and compare this trick to any bangers I see. All right, number 4 or 5. I can't remember. I think number 4. Okay, so number 4, Dane Burnman's 50-50 on the municipal rail. This I can't even speak to how crazy this is. Just the thought of it. I visited this spot in session. I'll put it up on the screen right now. You can see how gnarly this spot is even in session. Like the fact that I get goosebumps when visiting this spot in a video game speaks to how insane this trick is. This is another trick where if something went wrong, he would break his legs immediately and potentially even get more injured. Because this is just a straight drop. I don't know what the height is of this drop. But just look at this. He does a 50-50 on here. And what's so crazy is that there's like 4 different things that this man has to control in this trick. First off, he's doing a 50 onto a rail, right? So okay, it's a 50, and then it levels out, so he has to balance through the kink. He has to make sure that he's completely balanced so that if he is leaning too far forward, he doesn't fall on the other side. So the only way for him to bail is to fall backwards. He cannot fall forwards or else he will break his legs. And then once he grinds out the kink, he then has to ollie out of it, because he can't just ride out of it. He has to ollie out of it, and then he's essentially olling a size of like a 10 or 11 stair. So it's like you're doing a handrail that cuts off and you have to ollie another set of stairs. It's just absolutely mind-blowing to see this trick done. And to me, this is, without saying, it's one of the greatest skate tricks I've ever seen. Just the fact, just by assessing how he could have legitimately died or broke his legs, and seeing how he was able to time and time again 50 this and bail out correctly is mind-blowing to me. Because this wasn't just a first try thing. He was battling this thing for hours and hours and hours. And the fact that he did not fall forward once is a testament to how good Dane is, just a testament to how good Dane is and how crazy this spot is. Okay, so lastly, I want to give my man Henry Gartland the craziest skate trick that's ever been done. Rest in peace to him. He unfortunately passed earlier this year. But he did, for his Santa Cruz part a couple years ago, I know a lot of these are recent. For his Santa Cruz part, he did a back 50 on, I believe this is like 8 or 9 kinks on a rail. And this, just watch the clip. Is there anything more I have to say about this? The amount of control you have to be able to balance through 8 or 9 kinks is absolutely insane to me. And this has to be one of the longest 50-50s or the most kinks that has ever been grinded. Maybe Nija has that spot. I don't know. I can't even fathom the amount of skill this man has. But that's it. Let me know what you guys think, and peace.